Hi everyone, I'm Zach Schreck, Director of Product Management for Homeworks. I'm joined here today by Ryan Burnish from the Homeworks team, and we're here today to share an exciting new update to the Homeworks product line. Ryan?
Thank you, Zach. As everyone knows, upgrading systems to the latest generation of Homeworks is a significant opportunity, none greater than that of the remote power modules, or RPMs. RPM modules have been with the Homeworks product offering since as far back as Homeworks Interactive. All the way through Illumination to QS, up until 2017, they were the predominant means of centralized lighting control in these systems. After that, we launched DIN Rail, and now with Homeworks QSX, the DIN Rail technology is now the primary method for centralized lighting control. And of course, the goal would be to take those RPM projects and move them over to the latest and greatest technology, such as LED Plus technology, which is in our LQSE-485 module. But to do that today is not necessarily an easy task, as everyone I'm sure knows. Today, not only would you have to replace the modules, but you'd also have to replace the entire panel, which comes with its own set of complexities. Let's quickly review that. So, of course, one of the first things that jumps to mind is the panel could be recess mounted, which makes the install much more challenging. Also, all of the load wiring would have to get removed from the existing panel, fed into the new panel. Not only is that challenging physically to do that, but also it's challenging from an organizational perspective, making sure that the right load wires get landed to the proper outputs on the new modules. And then to top it off, once those load wires are fed into the panel, the length of those wires may not be sufficient to reach the new DIN rail modules inside of the new DIN panel. That's because, of course, the RPM panels had the vertical DIN rail to land the load wires on. So oftentimes those load wires were cut short from the perspective of the DIN module's needs. All of those challenges make the upgrade process much more difficult. But let's find out how we can make that easier for you. Introducing the new RPM to DIN subplate solution. This subplate fits inside of any 8-up RPM panel, whether it be feed through or breaker, HWBP, HWAP, doesn't matter. Any 8-up RPM panel, allowing for up to 8 DIN modules to mount inside of these existing enclosures on your existing projects. What does this mean for you? Well, this makes it easier from an install perspective because you can leave the panel and the load wiring intact and simply place the subplate into the area where the existing RPM module was once mounted, and then using the horizontal DIN rail that are mounted onto the subplate, snap in your new DIN modules for the replacement. The entire solution, just like any residential panel, completely 100% field assembled. So that means you're going to be ordering the modules separately, the DIN subplate separate, and then piece it all together into the field. Now, let's take a look at some of the contents of the box when you buy a subplate. Of course, as you see on the slide, there's a long bulleted list here, but rather than show you another slide and talk through the bullets, why don't we actually show you the physical product? So most importantly, of course, is the subplate. When you order the subplate, you would expect to get one of these. And of course, if you look at this, you're going to see the horizontal DIN rail, total of 8 to mount up to 8 DIN rail modules, and a little cutout at the bottom for where this subplate would fit around load centers at the bottom of breaker panels. So the subplate, #1 priority, but of course, there are some other important pieces. The next most important piece is the panel cover. And I'm going to hold it sideways because it's a pretty tall piece of equipment. The panel cover is necessary for warranty purpose as well as UL and CUL to maintain that listing. Very important to do to get proper ventilation for those DIN rail modules. You're also going to see down in the one end that there's a larger hole. That is where the breakers would protrude through the surface of the panel cover. Now, of course, not every panel in the field has breakers. For the panels that do not have breakers, every subplate will come with a little cover for that knockout that is in the cover itself to seal that off. Every subplate will also come with a QS communication link wire harness, a wire landing board, and ground terminal blocks. And the purpose of these is that the RPM module is directly grounded to the panel, since the enclosure of an RPM is metal. DIN modules are separate. You actually have to run a wire over to a terminal block. So we'll include those along with the subplate. Everything that you saw there included in one box for a list price of $1,000 USD or 1,260 Canadian. And with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Zach and have him give some closing remarks.
Thanks, Ryan. We know that upgrades represent an important part of your business, and that's why we're very excited to be making upgrades from RPM to DIN easier than ever with the new subplate. As Ryan explained, the subplate saves you time and complexity when making this upgrade, and it also allows you to keep the existing RPM panel in place. But more important than that, it gives your customers access to the latest HomeWorks technology, LED plus DIN modules, Elise keypads, Ketra lighting, advanced integrations, and so much more as we continue to add to the HomeWorks platform. Now, the subplate is available today for specification, and it will be available to ship in September. For more information, please visit the My Resources page on Lutron.com. Thank you for your business, and we look forward to sharing more information from the HomeWorks team soon.